Top 10 most motivating short stories in the world. Inspirational short tales make for compelling reading. The best part about them is that they are simple to understand and always have a lesson to be learned. Welcome to your daily, bright, brainy dose. I'm Morgan, your favorite storyteller. Whether or not they are real stories is another matter, because many of them are legends that have a long history, even hundreds of years. The stories I'm referring to, though, are so potent and motivating that a lot of them truly do get you thinking and, at times, even leave you speechless. In the past couple of weeks, I've read a lot of these short stories, and I've always loved the lessons they teach. So I made the decision to compile this list of the top 10 inspiring short tales I've read. I hope you get to learn the way I have. Please promise me one thing though. You get to the end. Please share this with at least 10 of your friends. My granddaughter Mia is teaching me the TikTok, something like that. I'll get her to share this link there too. Number 10, The Elephant Rope. One day, a guy was strolling through an elephant camp when he saw that the elephants weren't being chained or confined in cages. A short bit of rope fastened to one of their legs was all that stood between them and freedom from the camp. The man was utterly perplexed as he observed the elephants, wondering why they didn't simply use their power to cut the rope and go away from the camp. Although it would have been simple for them to do so, they made no attempt. He inquired of a nearby trainer, hoping to discover the reason the elephants were merely standing there without making any attempt to flee. The instructor answered, "We tie them with the same size rope when they are very young and considerably smaller. At that age, the rope is sufficient to hold them. They are taught as children that they cannot separate as adults. They never attempt to get free because they still think the rope can hold them. The only reason the elephants weren't escaping the camp was because they eventually came to believe that it just wasn't feasible." The moral of the story is to constantly maintain the conviction that what you want to do is attainable, despite the efforts of the world to hold you back. The key to truly attaining success is to believe that you can do it. Number 9, Using the Original Thought. A tiny company owner owing a loan shark a sizable sum of money in a small Italian town hundreds of years ago. The loan shark was a very elderly, ugly-looking man who just so happened to be interested in the daughter of the company owner. He made the decision to present the businessman with a proposal that would entirely erase the amount owing to him. But there was a catch: we would forgive the loan only if he could wed the businessman's daughter. This idea, it goes without saying, was welcomed with contempt. The loan shark promised to put one white and one black stone inside a bag. The daughter would next have to select a stone by reaching inside the bag. If it was black, however, the loan shark would then wed her even though the debt would be erased. The debt would likewise be erased if it were white, but the daughter would not be required to wed the loan shark. The loan shark was standing on a walkway lined with pebbles in the businessman's yard. He bowed down and picked up 2 pebbles. The daughter saw that when he was picking them up, he also picked up 2 black stones and put them both inside the bag. Then he instructed the daughter to select one by reaching into the bag. Naturally, the daughter had 3 options for what she may have done: refuse to take a stone out of the bag, pull both pebbles out of the bag to call the loan shark out on his deception. She picked a black stone out of the bag, knowing full well that it would be her sacrifice in exchange for her father's freedom. Before even glancing at it, she pulled a pebble out of the bag and accidentally dropped it among the other stones. As she addressed the loan shark, "Oh, how foolish I was. But don't worry, you can tell which stone I chose if you search the bag for the one that is still there." since the pebble the daughter dropped was plainly black and the loan shark didn't want to be discovered. He had to pretend that the stone was white in order to pay off her father's debt. The moral of the story is that you should never give in to your limited alternatives and constantly think outside the box to find a solution to a challenging problem. Number 8. The frogs in a group. Two frogs fell into a deep pit while they were moving through the woods as a group. The two frogs were informed that there was no chance left for them when the other frogs gathered around the pit and observed its depth. The two frogs, on the other hand, made the decision to disregard what the others were saying and tried to jump out the hole. The frogs at the top of the hole continued to advise them to give up despite their attempts, that they wouldn't ever escape. One of the frogs eventually paid attention to what the other frogs were saying and gave up, plummeting to his death. The second frog kept jumping as forcefully as he could. Once more, the frogs shouted at him to end his suffering and pass away. He leapt considerably higher before emerging successfully. The other frogs yelled at him when he emerged, "Did you not hear us?" They were informed by the frog that he was deaf. He believed they were supporting him the whole time. The moral of the story is that words may have a significant impact on other people's lives. Give your words some thought prior to speaking. The difference between life and death can be all that matters. Number 7. 1 kilogram of butter. A farmer provided a baker with a pound of butter. The baker decided to weigh the butter one day to determine if he was receiving the proper quantity, which he was not. This infuriated him, and he later sued the farmer. Court questioned the farmer about the scales he was using to weigh the butter. "Honor, I am a simple farmer," the farmer retorted. "Although I lack a good measuring device, I do have a scale. Therefore, how do you weigh the butter?" the judge asked. Farmer's response: "Your Honor, I have been buying a pound of bread from the baker since long before he started buying butter from me. When the baker delivers the bread each day, I weigh it and give it to him with the exact same amount of butter. Is the baker who should take the blame?" The moral of the story is that in life, you get back what you put out. Don't try to trick other people. Number 6. The roadblock on our way. A king once ordered the placement of a boulder on a road. He then went into hiding and kept an eye out to see if anyone would move the boulder. Some of the richest merchants and courtiers of the monarch passed by and simply strolled past it. Nobody moved the stone out of the path despite the loud criticisms that were leveled at the king for failing to keep the roadways clear. Then a peasant arrived with a bunch of veggies. The peasant walked up to the boulder, set down his load, and tried to push it out of the way. He struggled and pushed hard before succeeding. A pocketbook was lying on the path where the boulder had been when the peasant returned to collect his veggies. A message from the king saying that the gold was for the person who removed the rock off the road was also inside the bag, along with other gold coins. The moral of the story is that every challenge we face in life presents us with an opportunity to better our situation. And while the lazy whine, the others are busy making opportunities for themselves via their good deeds, kindness, and desire to work hard. The butterfly. Number 5. A man discovered a butterfly's cocoon. One day, a little opening emerged. He stayed and watched the butterfly try to fit its body through that tiny hole for several hours. Up until that point, when it appeared to have reached a dead end, the man made the decision to assist the butterfly. He grabbed a pair of scissors and cut the last of the cocoon off. The butterfly then readily emerged, despite having a bloated body and tiny, shriveled wings. The man sat there waiting for the wings to spread out and get larger in order to support the butterfly without giving it any thought. But it didn't go like that. The remainder of the butterfly's life was spent crawling around with little wings and in a large body since it was unable to fly. Despite the man's good intentions, he was unaware that the butterfly's effort to squeeze through the tiny entrance and the constricting cocoon were ways for God to force fluid from the butterfly's body onto its wings, to be ready for flight as it emerged from the cocoon. The moral of the story: we grow stronger through the challenges we face in life. We must face obstacles on our own and not rely on the assistance of others, since without struggles, we cannot develop and become stronger. Number 4. Retain your cool. A little child who had an extremely nasty temper once lived. His father made the choice to give him a bag of nails and instructed him to drive a nail into the fence each time he lost his temper. The child drove 37 nails into that fence on the first day. Over the subsequent weeks, the child gradually learned to manage his fury, and he stopped driving as many nails into the fence. He found that keeping his fury in check was simpler than driving those nails into the fence. Finally, the youngster had a day where he never lost his cool. He broke the news to his father, who proposed that the child pick out an 8 each day that he managed his temper. After a few days had passed, the small child was finally able to inform his father that all of the nails had fallen out. The father walked his son to the fence while holding his hand. "You did well, my son, but check out the gaps in the fence," I said. "Never again will the fence be the same. Things you say while you're angry also leave scars like this one. A knife can be inserted into a guy and drawn out. No matter how many times you apologize, the hurt will always remain." The moral of the story is to learn to control your rage and refrain from saying things to others while you're angry that you might later come to regret. There are certain things in life that you cannot undo. The blind girl. Number 3. A blind girl formerly despised herself just because of her blindness. Her devoted partner, who was always there for her, was the one person she didn't detest. She declared that she would marry him if she could only see the globe. She eventually received a gift of eyes from someone, enabling her to see everything, including her boyfriend. "Will you marry me now that you may travel the globe, my love?" she was asked by her boyfriend. When the girl discovered that her boyfriend was also blind, she was horrified and refused to marry him. After leaving the room in tears, her lover subsequently sent her a note in which he stated, "Just take good care of my eyes, my love." The moral of the story is that our minds change as our surroundings evolve. Some people might not be able to understand or appreciate the way things were previously. This narrative has several lessons to teach us, not just one. One of the motivational short stories that completely silenced me was this one. Number 2. Puppies for sale. Puppies for sale was posted on a sign over the door of a store. Unsurprisingly, a little kid approached the owner after spotting the sign and asking, "How much are you going to sell the pups for?" Such signs frequently drawing young children, anywhere between $30 and $50, the store owner retorted. The youngster took some coins out of his pocket. "I've got $2.37, he said. "Please let me examine them." The store owner whistled while grinning. Lady emerged from the kennel and was followed by 5 teeny little balls of hair as she went down the aisle of his store. One of the puppies was far behind the others. The young child immediately pointed out the dragging, limping puppy and inquired as to what was wrong with it. According to the store owner, the veterinarian had inspected the little puppy and found that it lacked a hip socket. It would constantly limp. It would never be funny. The youngster grew animated. "I'm to buy that puppy," someone said. "No, you don't want to buy that small puppy," the store owner said. "He's yours to keep if you insist on having him." The young guy became quite agitated. "I don't want you to give him to me," he shouted, thrusting his finger directly into the store owner's eyes. "I'll pay full price for the small dog since it's worth just as much as all the other pets. In fact, until I get him paid for, I'll send you $2.37 now and 50 cents each month." "You definitely don't want to buy this small puppy," the store owner retorted. "He'll never be able to play with you like the other pups, running about and jumping." Unexpectedly, the little child reached down and rolled up his pant leg to expose a left leg that was crippled, severely bent, and supported by a large metal brace. "Well, I don't run too well myself, and the tiny dog will require someone who understands," he said as he turned to face the store owner. Number 1. Box of Kisses. A guy once disciplined his 3-year-old daughter after she threw away a roll of gold wrapping paper. Because of his limited resources, he lost his cool when the kid attempted to decorate a box to place beneath the Christmas tree. Nevertheless, the young girl told her father the following morning that the present was for him. The man was ashamed of his previous emotions, but when he saw the box was empty, he was much more furious. "Don't you know there is supposed to be something inside when you give someone a present?" he raged at her. The young child sobbed as she gazed up at him while crying. "Oh, Daddy, it's not at all empty. I kissed the box with my breath. All of these are for you, Daddy." The father felt devastated. He encircled his young daughter in his arms and begged for her pardon. The child's death was caused by an accident only a short while afterwards. For many years, her father kept the gold box by his bed. Whenever he felt down, he would pull it out, give it an imagined kiss, and think of the child's love that had placed it there. The moral of the story is that love is the most priceless gift there is. Which of these inspiring short tales are your favorites? Post your comments below. Your comments are keeping my job here. For real though, thanks for impressing my boss. I hope I get a raise soon for this shit. Sorry, delete that shit.